right, hello everyone. I'm not very good at parties. I'm like not very social. So I'm a little nervous tonight, but hopefully we're going to have some fun. So let me know in the chat what you're celebrating, what you're drinking. I'm drinking water out of a glass that I won. I can't even remember what horse I won it on. Yeah, let's see. Pat says she's celebrating getting back on after a fall. Good for you, Pat. Cheers. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm celebrating surviving a long, hot, humid week and enjoying my horses. Let's see. Cynthia's here. Catherine says I'm doing great. Thank you. Okay, so we have some fun things planned tonight. We have a lot of you guys wrote in awesome tips. We have some trivia. We have some giveaways. For the giveaways, you will be calling in. So you will be calling my mom. So if possible, if you have a phone handy, you can call her or borrow your husband's phone or whatever. Hopefully she's on here. I don't see her, but I think she's here somewhere. And yeah, it's going to be a fun evening of enjoying our horses. So let me get started with the presentation and the slideshow. Here we go. Okay, so our summer dressage party. It's July already. That's kind of hard to believe. So the agenda for tonight, we have tips from the community. We have trivia, we have giveaways. So we have that custom saddlery boot and helmet bag. We have a Visualize Canada shirt. And we also have a 3-month membership to Amelia's Dressage Academy that we'll be giving out more towards the end of the party tonight. So that should be super fun. So tonight we're celebrating this amazing community. So thank you all for being here. My mission is to help you guys learn to love your ride. And through education and through community, I want to encourage you all to love your horses and to love to ride and to ride dressage. So we have now 48,000 subscribers on YouTube all over the world. We have 10,000 people in the Dressage Club, which is amazing. We have over 1,700 people in our online courses, and we have 5 courses accredited by USDF. So thank you all for being here. Like I said, this community is so special and so amazing. And I'm just amazed by how much you guys support each other, how much you help each other out, how much you encourage each other, how much you encourage me. And that's really what it's all about. In dressage, there's so many highs and lows and ups and downs. And the more that we can be here to support each other and help each other and, you know, lift each other up as we grow and improve, that's really what it's all about. So cheers to all of you guys. To me, there's really 3 pillars to your success in dressage. The first one is theory and education. And so that's really what I'm trying to provide through my videos, through my online programs, is giving you guys this education. Throughout my career, I've been so blessed to have amazing teachers and amazing trainers. And without this education and these trainers, there's no way that I would be doing what I'm doing today. And in this amazing world that we live in, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, we can go live, we have Zoom, we have all these amazing ways that we can reach people all over the world. And when I was a kid, I remember I had VHS tapes and I would just watch them over and over again with these horse videos, trying to get every little nugget of knowledge that I could. So it's really special that I can share this education with all of you guys. Let's see. The second one, of course, is community and support. We already talked about that, but you guys encouraging one another, helping one another, me helping you, you helping me, that's really what this is all about. And then the third pillar, which is something that kind of comes from within, is just grit and determination and passion for the horses. And this is something that I don't know exactly where I got it from. I think part of it is from my family, from my mother, from my grandparents, the determination and the work ethic that I have. But I also think that through education and through community support, that we can help each other to foster this grit and determination that you have to have in dressage with horses, because it's hard. Like, you have good days, you have bad days. So that's really what it's all about. So let's celebrate and create our successes together, because that's really what this is all about. And let me know if you want to share one success that you've had so far this year. So it's July. We're most of the way through the year. And I hope you guys have had some success, or at least something that you're proud of accomplishing this year. If you haven't, if it's been like a terrible and a crappy year, that's okay too, because sometimes when you struggle and when you have a bad year, that's actually where you're growing the most. So you might not realize it, and you might feel like you haven't had any successes this year. But I bet you that looking back, once you get through this hard time, you're going to see that you are actually growing and learning a lot during your struggles. Okay, so here's some fun tips from our community that I wanted to share with you guys. This one is from Karen. So Karen says that one of the most popular tips that you have given us is the scrambled egg exercise. It is a powerful image that has helped me with my contact. The gentle scrambling motion helps my horse to soften. I attached a picture of Lacey demonstrating her expertise. So thank you, Karen, for sharing that. Yay, congratulations. That scrambled egg analogy my husband came up with, and it has helped a lot of people. So thank you, Karen. And then of course we have the scrambled eggs challenge. That was super fun challenge to do this year. And Alex, of course, was able to balance on the back of a horse and scramble the eggs. If any of you guys don't know about the scrambled eggs, basically the analogy, and a lot of riders struggle with contact. You know, we all end up just pulling and bracing on our horses. So the scrambled eggs idea is that when you supple your horse, it's that same motion that you do when you're scrambling eggs. So it's just kind of that gentle wrist motion, and that small motion can do a lot to get your horses supple and round. Okay, so Diane says that the lecture on aids with the emphasis on forward feeling hands has been very helpful. So forward feeling hands, I think this image of when you're riding, you're really riding from your leg to your hand. If you can picture pushing a shopping cart out in front of you, that's kind of the feeling you want with your hands, that you're directing the energy forward from your legs to your hands. And then you're doing that little scrambled egg motion with your hand. So remember that your reins are restraining aids. So your reins are basically what stop your horse. So this idea of forward feeling hands, particularly if you have a horse that's like lazy or that doesn't want to go forward, that can be super helpful. Okay, here's another tip. I forget who sent this to me, so I apologize that your name's not on here. But we had one person write in and say that it was really helpful for her to visualize half halting when the mane flies up in the canter. So the canter, you know, it has that wonderful rocking horse motion. And it's really important that whatever you do in the canter should be on the upbeat of the canter. You always want to accentuate the mane flying up. So you always want to half halt or ride forward or make a transition. You always want to half halt when the mane is coming up, because that's the moment, like if you see the photo there on the bottom right of Kensington, when his outside hind leg is on the ground, his front legs are off of the ground, And so that's the moment that you want to half halt, because you want to always get your horse more uphill. So that's really important. If you have a horse that gets strong or on the forehand in the canter, keep this in mind when you're riding canter, and I know that it will help you. Okay. Let's see. This is some more tips from Allison. She had some really good tips. So Allison says that she's 46 and has 4 kids. I rode when I was young and loved it, but somehow high school, sports, college, and then life took priority, and I was not able to start riding again until last year. And I know many of you guys are like this, where you rode as a kid, you had a break, and now you're back into it. So good for you guys. Kudos to all of you who are back into it. So she said, one of my videos, I wrote a poem, which I will show you on the next slide. And she posted this poem and looks at it every day before she rides. So I'll show you the poem in the next slide. Another thing that I've learned lately came from a sports psychologist that I listened to. She was talking about the comfort zone and anxiety. Basically, the concept that you can help curtail anxiety by doing a little, and eventually things outside of your comfort zone become more comfortable. Every time I ride, I try to push just a little outside my comfort zone in a manageable way. And now I have found that my comfort zone has grown and expanded. For example, I was nervous to canter, and now I canter every time I ride, even if it's just for a few steps. Good for you, Allison. That's so wonderful. And it's really important. This is not only important for you as the rider, but it's also really important for your horse. And I think about this a lot when I'm training my horses, that every day I want to start in the comfort zone, and then I want to kind of push them a little bit out of the comfort zone into that learning zone. But I don't ever want to get my horse, or my students for that matter, into the panic zone. So if you try to push too hard and you scare your horse, or you scare yourself, or you fall off, or something bad happens, then that just shrinks your comfort zone even more. So this is a really good tip, to just try to stretch yourself a little bit every day. And then over time, you're going to find that your comfort zone gets bigger and bigger. Her third tip for us is to get in better shape. So amen, Allison. Thank you. But yeah, you guys have to be fit. You have to stay strong. I have a few students in their 70s that I teach every day, and they go to the gym, they work out with a trainer, and it makes such a difference when they get in the saddle. So stay fit, stay strong, and so much info online. So yeah, there's a lot out there on the USDF website, on my site. There's so much information that you guys can be learning online, and I appreciate you guys taking full advantage of that and making this commitment. So thank you, Allison, for sharing those tips with us. Thank you for your beautiful photo of your horse. Super cute. I love chestnut horses. Okay, so maybe let's do our first giveaway. My mom, Joellen, if you guys don't know my mom, she really helps me manage the Dressage Facebook club, because that's like a full-time job. She's gonna type her number in the chat, and we'll give you guys the third caller will send you an Amelia Newcomb Dressage vest. So my mom seems to be under Jim for some reason tonight, but she'll type her phone number there, and then the third caller will send you a vest. So go ahead and get busy calling. I'm going to continue with my slides, and then we'll announce the winners towards the end of the presentation. This is like a radio call-in session. Okay, so here's the poem that Allison was talking about, A Promise to My Horse. If you guys want, take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically it's so important when you get on your horse that you're in the right mindset, that when you get on your horse, that you promise your horse that you're present, that you are releasing all the tension from the rest of your life, that you get on your horse with this sense of confidence and bravery, because your horse needs to know that you are the leader, and you have to have this confidence in yourself. Like, I'm the leader, I'm a good rider, I have tools to direct you and your energy in any situation. So this is just a poem that I wrote that might be helpful to you to read before you get in the saddle or before you do a show, just to give you that confidence. Okay, here's another tip from Joanne. Have any of you guys ever, oh, someone says the number's not working. I don't know what to tell you guys. We'll do them at the end. We'll try the giveaways at the end. I'm not sure why it's not working, or maybe she can give you guys a another number. Sorry about that. We'll be sure to do the giveaways though. Okay, have any of you guys ever swam your horse? It's like the most amazing thing. So when you go out, like I did it bareback a few times, and it's crazy because the horse goes totally underwater at first, and you think, oh my gosh, the horse might be drowning. And then they start doing like this little breaching motion, and it's like the most amazing thing ever. So if you ever have a chance to swim your horse, for sure you should do it. But okay, so Joanne's tip is that she participated in a different type of clinic. It was taught by a famous rider from Australia. Anyways, long story short, everyone, including dressage riders, should learn to do a one rein stop. If you get into a bad situation, thinking clearly goes out the window quickly. Pulling back on two reins won't work. The horse can easily brace against that. Make the one rein stop second nature. And when things go wrong, you can easily disengage the hind end and get your horse back to you. So awesome tip. Thank you, Joanne, for sharing that. And definitely, I need to do more videos about the one rein stop. It's really important that you practice the one rein stop. Part of why I haven't done a lot of videos about it is because if your horse isn't supple and isn't bendable, and you try to do a one rein stop, they might fall over. But if you've taught your horse a one rein stop, like Joanne says, it's really invaluable. So definitely try to teach your horse a one rein stop, because it can save you from getting hurt or from falling off. Okay, the next slide is from Leslie. She says, I've given some thought. Not only has our riding improved from your teaching, but the relationship between Usher and I has improved. All of your teachings have elements of relationship building. You are like a marriage counselor. Usher is much more patient. He stands quietly while I fuss over him. He loves the groundwork. He seeks me out when I'm in the paddock and nuzzles me. I think it's the detail level you are able to get to while keeping it simple that I really benefit from. Amelia is able to simplify the details. So she didn't send me a picture, so I put a picture of my husband and I there instead. I'm definitely not a marriage counselor, but it is sometimes with your horse. It's like you guys become an old married couple, you know, where like you do one thing, your horse does the other thing, and you get into these like bad patterns with each other where you're kind of bickering and fighting. And you do need a marriage counselor. Like you need a trainer, you need an instructor, you need to watch a video, you need to do something that gives you these tools to get out of these patterns and habits that you have with your horses. So thank you for pointing that out, Leslie. That's kind of funny. All right. Next one is from Emily. And I thought this was good. I suppose my tip would be turn the saddle, not the bridle. Although I can't say this has transformed my riding, I'm still really struggling with turning left on my lease horse, but not on other horses. Here's the picture of us. His name is Friday, and he's a 16-3 hand thoroughbred. I love that name. But it's like when you think of turning your horse, I like this because when you want to turn, think about that turning the saddle, like use your outside upper thigh, use your outside rein. turn your body. Don't just pull on the inside rein. So maybe this image will help you guys too. If you think about turning the saddle rather than just turning the bridle. Oops, we skipped one. Okay, here's another cool image for those of you guys that are visual learners. Okay, let's see what Joellen says. Okay, the phone doesn't work. It went totally crazy. We're going to do this via email. We have a winner. My email is joellennewcomb@gmail.com for the next giveaway. Okay, so we'll email Joellen instead of calling her. I thought that would be fun to call her, but I guess too many people tried to call her. So you guys can email her for the giveaway, and then the third email will get the first prize. Okay, so a tip for feeling the footfalls for the canter. Think of a vertically oriented rectangular label. I'm applying to some surface. Each corner of the label is a hoof. For the left lead canter, I think of the label hovering an inch above the surface. First, the right corner or hoof touches down. Then the adhesive grips the surface, the center of the label curls, and the left hind and right front make contact. Finally, the left front touches down. And then in my mind, I peel the label off as the horse jumps up and begins the next stride, and the whole thing repeats. So I love that, Marlene. Thank you for sharing that. I've never thought of that before, but it's definitely important that you are feeling the footfalls, that it's like in your mind, you're picturing what your horse's hind legs and their legs in general are doing. So the footfalls for the canter are outside hind leg is beat 1, and then inside hind leg and outside front leg is beat 2, and then inside front leg is beat 3. So that image of the label like going down and up is really cool. I like that a lot. Okay, Amanda. So Amanda's tip is, my tip would be to take your time with your horse and to celebrate small achievements, no matter what they are. Here's Molly, my 7-year-old warm blood mare, and me. And I love that. So thank you, Amanda. That's so important to remember. And I think we all get so caught up in like, I mean, all of us, we're very type A and we have these big goals and we want to do these big things. But at the end of the day, it's important to remember like these little achievements, like, oh my gosh, I had the most amazing transition today, or I got my horse to canter, or just like little things like that. Or someone shared with me that they were able to get their horse to just lower their head and relax. Those little things are huge. And it's important to remember that and stay true to that. Okay, let's see. Joellen says she got 32 emails. The third email was from Joe Claire. Okay, awesome. Joe Claire, you're the winner of the first vest. Yay, Joe Claire. Okay, let's see. What should we give away? Okay, I think that Joellen also has an insulated mug. Let me show you. It's kind of like this, but it's like half the size. So let's do this time the 5th email for the insulated mug. We'll send you that. And yeah, this is an experiment, this whole giveaway thing. So the 5th email, send it to Joellen, joellennewcomb@gmail.com. And we will get you a Amelia Newcomb Dressage mug. All right. Okay, this was a good story from Romania. So let's see. Andrea says, I'm coming from Romania and I absolutely love horses. My story begins 1 year ago. When close to my city, I discovered a little heaven on earth. So back then I got in love with this beautiful big horse named Lansu. He's gorgeous, but a little nasty and disrespectful. So my bad luck was fall and I broke my arm. I didn't quit right away. I saddled him up again for a few more times, which led me to another injury and I hurt my back. So then it was the end. I got panic attacks only when I look at the horse. I used to go daily to the center only to see them, to pet them, to be with them, but not in the saddle. In last December, I tried to ride again, but my heart started to beat so rapidly, I quickly got off. Sad, very sad. But my story goes bigger from that moment. Starting in the middle of March this year, I was back again in the saddle. I was so determined to get over my panic, but I started with this old horse named Atman, a very calm horse, well educated. The children love him. He has a floating trot and the most wonderful canter, and I received my faith that I can ride again. I did not do any professional dressage, but I would like to. For a week now, I'm riding my boy, Ramon. He's an 8-year-old beautiful horse. So thank you for sharing this. I think that it's really important to know that sometimes maybe you just need to try a different horse. A lot of riders, a lot of you guys get yourselves over mounted where you're a green rider, you have a green horse, and bad things happen. So it's really important if you have a bad experience, like she did, take a lesson on a lesson horse that children ride. Ride a horse that's super calm and that knows their job. And that's going to build up your confidence. So don't try and ride some like crazy off the track, unbroke thing. Ride something that's safe, that you can get your confidence, and then little by little work your way back up to it, because sometimes it really takes just that special horse to give you the confidence that you need. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad that you got over your fear and your panic, and, you know, just keep going, keep getting a little out of your comfort zone. Okay, who's ready for trivia? So for the trivia, yes, Tracy is ready. For the trivia, I don't have anything super like creative. So what you're going to do is you're just going to get a pen and a piece of paper and you're going to keep score. So you give yourself 1 point for every trivia that you get correct. I think we have like 21 trivia questions. So the highest score you could get is 21. It's totally just for fun. And I hope you enjoy it. I had fun making this up. Okay. Trivia question number 1. What are the levels of the dressage training scale from bottom to top? And you guys feel free to type them in the box here, the chat box. Hopefully you guys know the answer to this. Okay, the mug went to Catherine. Awesome. Thank you, Joellen. I'm sorry that you're having technical issues tonight. So let me know in the chat, what are the levels of the dressage training scale from bottom to top? You guys should be able to just like, with your eyes closed, rehearse this. Yes, Debbie, rhythm, suppleness, connection, impulsion, straightness, and collection. Yay, good job, guys. Okay, so there we go. These are some of the artwork that people did who took my dressage training scale course, which is super fun. But it's really important that you guys know the levels of the training scale, because this is what should guide your training, like your day-to-day training. And I remember when I was a young rider, I got to ride with George Williams, and this was like, he came up to me and he was like, okay, Amelia, what are the levels of the training scale? And I wasn't sure. So now I'm always sure that I can just recite them from bottom to top. And I think about them when I ride every single horse that I ride. So yes, and good job all of you guys on your artwork. So creative. And the students that take the course, then they'll often post these photos like in their tack room or in their tack trunk, so that they see that every day, and it reminds them to think about the training scale. Question number 2, which of the following is not one of the elements of impulsion? So we have A, elasticity of the steps, B, speed and tempo, C, suppleness of the back, D, engagement of the hindquarters, and E, the desire to move forward. Okay, B. Yes, good job, you guys. You guys are getting, you know, all my questions. Okay, there we go, B. So impulsion has 4 elements. So those are the 4 elements: elasticity of the steps, suppleness of the back, engagement of the hindquarters, and the desire to move forward. Impulsion does not have to do with how fast you're going necessarily. So I almost think that sometimes, like when you bring your horse back, like when you half out your horse and you bring your horse back and you build up all of this energy, that's really when you have the most impulsion. Okay, you guys can't hear me anymore. Is anyone else having trouble, or is it just Sylvia? Okay, good. Sorry, technology is nice when it works and it's not nice when it doesn't work. Okay, good, you guys can hear me. Okay, in the Grand Prix, question number 3, what percentage of the score is Piaffe and Passage? 17%, 25%, 33%, or 55%? Okay, 33%. Good, good. Yes, okay. So the answer is 33%. I did this calculation once and I was just amazed, because I think part of what's hard at dressage is that you don't do Piaffe and Passage until the Grand Prix. And suddenly at the Grand Prix, it's a third of your score, which is huge. So I posted in here, these are the top 10 Piaffe and Passage averages of the top riders right now. So if you look, Isabel Worth is high up there with Bella Rose and Weigold. That's part of why Isabel Worth is so competitive, is because her Piaffe and Passage is so good, and it's 33% of her score. Another rider that is up here is Jessica Van Windle. I'm sorry, I just butchered her name, but on her Delaria BB. So that's a horse that's going to be at the Olympics. The Olympics, of course, are later this month, but she's a really good one to watch. And her Piaffe Passage is so rhythmic and the transitions are really flawless. So that's part of why Jessica is doing so well with her horse. So just a fun fact for you guys. Okay. How does the judge decide your score? So A, by how perfectly you execute the movement. B, the score is decided by how much the judge likes you and your horse. C, the score is based on correct basics and then the criteria of the movement. Or D, the score is subjective. Okay, C, I see a lot of C's. There we go, C. So this is something that I actually just learned, which is really the formula for how the judge comes up with your score. So they always start with the basics. The basics is the dressage training scale. So it's the basics plus the criteria. So the criteria is what's required of that specific movement. So for example, if you're riding a leg yield, they want to see that the legs are crossing and that the horse stays more or less parallel to the long side. That would be the criteria of the movement. And then the modifiers are things like the size, the accuracy, the geometry, and the corners. So if you have like a mistake in the corner before you start your diagonal with a lengthening, for example, that's going to be a modifier that might take down your score. And that's how they get the score. Dressage is difficult because it is somewhat subjective and sometimes it can seem unfair. However, the judges are all very highly trained. Like, to become a judge is really hard. They have to go through a lot of training. It's super expensive actually to become a judge, and they don't get paid a lot. So I always have a lot of empathy for judges. I tried to judge one time. I think I judged like Pony Club or something, and it was really hard to be sitting there in the judge's booth, watching test after test, trying to be subjective. And then there was this one poor girl who her horse like left the arena or like bolted with her or something, and I couldn't decide if I should eliminate her or not, and she was super upset and I felt really bad. So being a judge is really hard, and it's important to remember that, you know, that you like, it's easy to be mad at them or upset about your score, but it's hard what they do. It's hard to sit there all day and watch the same test over and over again. Okay, bye, Tracy. Thank you for joining us from Australia. It's probably the middle of night there. Okay, true or false? Submission and impulsion are closely related. You cannot have impulsion without submission. So submission and impulsion are obviously scores that you get at the end of every test. And let's see, we see a lot of trues here. So there we go, true. So this is a quote from Stephen Clark. Stephen Clark is a very famous judge. I think he's an Olympic rated judge. So impulsion and submission are linked unequivocally because the more impulsion you ask for, the more submission needed. Impulsion can only be developed through a supple and straight horse that is in a true balance and self-carriage. Only then can the energy produced from the hind legs come through the back of the horse to the elastic and accepting contact with the hand. Then the half halt can transfer that energy from the hind legs into the carrying power. And this in turn brings the lightness and mobility of the shoulders that allows the horse to move with true expression. So in general, when we think of impulsion, we think of the hind end of the horse. So that's like the green circle there. Impulsion is the hind end of the horse. Submission is kind of the front end of the horse, like the brain of the horse, the acceptance of the bit, but they go hand in hand. Usually, like I found that my horses, when I get my score sheet, usually they score higher on one or the other. Like if my horse was particularly naughty or tense, I'll get a lower score on submission, like if I have a big mistake or something. But they're closely related. So very rarely are you going to get like a 4 on impulsion and an 8 on submission. They really go hand in hand. So if you're having trouble like getting the engine going, you have to think also about submission. If you're having trouble with submission, lots of times riding your horse more forward is going to fix that submission issue. Dressage is hard. Dressage is complicated. So that's just one example of how complicated it is do you have a submission problem? Do you have an impulsion problem, or is it both? Okay, question number 6. When you're struggling with straightness, it's important to A, only fix the horse's straightness. That's all that matters. B, focus on the rider's straightness and alignment. C, be sure that the horse is supple and has impulsion first. Or D, check your saddle fit. Or E, B, C, and D. Okay, there you guys go. E. Okay. Yes, E. So it's really important, you know, not to just blame your horse for being crooked, because we are all crooked, so are our horses. And so it's important to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead. Let's do the giveaway. We have, you see this, these visualized sportswear shirts. So we're going to give that to the 9th person who emails Joellen. It's an extra large size, but these run really small. So it's probably going to be fine for you. And these visualized shirts, those are the shirts with the X across the back. So email joellennewcomb@gmail.com if you want to enter to win one of them. These shirts are really helpful to help you guys see your straightness and see your alignment, because we all think that we are straight until you see it. You know, it's like you think that you're straight until you look up in the mirror and you realize that you're leaning off to the side and that your horse is cranked with their head to the left. So these shirts are hugely helpful. For me as an instructor, they're also really helpful when my student wears them, because they really help my eye to see the straightness and the symmetry of my student. The magic number is number 9. 9 is my favorite number. So email number 9 can get the visualized shirt. And yeah, they're amazing tools. I recommend to wear them in your lessons because they're super helpful. It was really funny though, because when I went down to ride with Yo Henneman a few times ago, I wore one of the visualized shirts and I didn't say anything. And then at the end of the lesson, I was like, so do you like this jacket? Was it helpful to you? And he was like, I don't need that. Like, I can see fine. So I guess the best instructors in the world don't need it, but I need it. It really helps me. All right. Question number 7. Can you have contact without connection? This is yes or no answer. Peggy says no. Emma says no. Beth says no. Can you have contact without connection? Okay, yay, someone says yes. Michaela, good for you, Michaela. Okay, you guys were all wrong at first. But you know what, you guys, don't be a follower, because I think because 2 people wrote no, then everyone else started writing no. Yes, you can have contact without connection. So let me explain this to you guys, because obviously there's some confusion. So contact has to do with the green circle. The green circle is contact. Contact is from your elbow to the horse's mouth. If you have, even if it's just 1 ounce of pressure, that's considered that you have contact. If your reins are flapping, you don't have contact. If your reins have any pressure in them, you do have contact. The red circle represents connection. So connection is the hind leg through the back and to the mouth of the horse. So let's look here. This is a perfect example. So this jumper rider, she has contact, right? Like her reins are tight. But does she have connection in the sense that we want in dressage? Like, does she have that throughness and that engagement of the hindquarters? No, not really. So there's the answer for you. You can have contact without connection, and you always want to get contact first and teach your horse to just accept contact, and then you start worrying about the whole body and the connection. All right, here's another stumper. Can you have connection without contact? Again, yes or no? Okay, no. Okay, there's some debate. So I'll be honest, when I first thought about this, I had like a big debate with my husband who rides. And then we also called Christine Traurig to talk to her about it. And there was some debate. So either way, I think you guys are at least thinking. Christine Traurig said that technically, no. Technically, you cannot have connection without contact. Now, I would argue that like in a moment like this, you can see that my reins are like, my right rein is loose. So when you're testing self-carriage, I would argue that you can have connection with no contact for a few strides. So that would be like when you're doing Uber striking and you're giving the reins, that's a test of the connection. Like the ability to give up contact and still have the hind end engaged with your horse. That's an example of where you could have connection without contact, but it can only last for a few strides, and then you have to take contact again. The contact doesn't have to be, when we talk about contact, we mean with the bit. And it doesn't have to be strong, like it doesn't have to be 50 pounds of pressure, but you do have to have some contact in order to get connection. Okay, number 9. Here's a scenario. We did this in the academy. So those of you guys that are in the academy, you have a slight advantage here. You're walking and you ask your horse to trot. Your horse goes forward to trot, but at the same time comes above the bit. What do? You A, immediately go back to the walk, get the horse round, and then insist the horse stays on the bit during the transition. B, reward the horse for trotting, then supple the horse and get them back on the bit in the trot. Once the horse is round, repeat the transition. C, punish the horse with your hands for coming above the bit. Or D. Okay, B, good job, guys. I think B is the answer. Yes. It's always important, you know, get your horse round first and then repeat the transition. Question 10, you're at the walk and you ask your horse to trot. The horse comes above the bit, ignores the driving aid, and stays in the walk. What do? You A, you get the horse back on the bit, reorganize, and then ask for the trot again. B, insist that the horse trots forward even though they are above the bit. D, punish the horse for disrespecting the rein aid, or D, none of the above? Okay, I'm going to say B with most horses, but A with some horses. So if you have a horse that's really hot and that they struggle more with staying round, then A is okay. So give yourself a point for either A or B. Most horses B, but some horses the answer can be A. All right, number 11, you're trotting and you ask your horse to canter. The horse puts their head up and runs faster at the trot. What do you do? A, bring the horse back in the trot, get them back on the bit, and then repeat the canter aid. B, insist that the horse canters on, even if it is from a fast trot and the head is in the air. C, reorganize and then try a slightly different aid for the canter. Maybe use your voice or a little more outside leg back. Or D, all of the above. Okay, I'm going to say D. It depends on the horse and depends on the situation. So you guys might be right. Again, you have to know your horse. You have to know why they didn't work, why they didn't react, why the canter aid didn't happen. And that's what's hard about dressage, is that every situation is a little bit different. Okay, number 12. This one is a free choice answer. So type in your answer. You're trotting and you want your horse to go to the walk. You tighten your seat and core and half halt the outside rein. The horse braces in the neck and goes faster. What are you going to do to get your horse to walk? So think of an answer. Again, every horse is different. Let's see. Joellen says, Cynthia says circle and bend. Jackie says circle. Take a deep breath and ask again. Move him off my inside leg. 10-meter circle, make a small circle. Okay, good job. Good job, you guys. Sit back. Another thing that might help would be to use your voice. So sometimes, like if my horse doesn't listen to my half halt, I'll use my voice and that will help to get my horse to come back to me. Yes. Okay, good job. Can give yourself a point if you came up with a good answer. All right, this is going to be a debatable slide. Which picture of this extended trot is the most correct? Let's see, we have some C's. A lot of C's. Okay, C and D, B. All right, I don't know, you guys. Okay, I'm not sure. So I said either B or D, but again, this is debatable and it's hard to tell just from a snapshot which is the best. So the reason that I didn't pick C is because I think that C looks kind of more like a medium trot as opposed to an extended trot. Like C just doesn't look like it would be that expressive or that exciting. You do want to always, one thing you want to have in an extended trot is you want the cannon bones to be parallel. So like you can see with A there, how that horse has a little bit more front leg than hind leg. I kind of like B, because B, I feel like the horse has a nice frame, like the horse is in front of the vertical, the horse is reaching to the contact. You also always want the horse that their toe points where they land. So like in B and D and C too, you can see that the horse points and then they're going to land wherever their toe is going. The thing I liked about D, which is Charlotte Dujardin and Vallegro there, is how much height that Vallegro has with his hind leg. So you can see it better in this picture, but you can see how high Vallegro's hind leg is off of the ground there. And I think that that is, you know, really a sign of the engagement. But again, it's hard to tell from a snapshot like this, you know, which is the best extended trot. You'd really need to see it in person and kind of see the rhythm and the transitions. All of that is super helpful. Okay. What year was dressage made an Olympic sport? And what year were women allowed to compete in dressage? A, B, C, or D? Okay, B, 1920 and 1960. C. All right, there you go. The answer is C. Good for you guys. So dressage was first come into the Olympics in 1918. And then it wasn't until 1952 that women were allowed to compete in dressage. So it hasn't been that long, you guys. This is cool. Here's a graph of the percentage of women versus men, of women that are winning medals at dressage. So you can see that well over 50% of the medals in dressage are won by women. So that's cool. And you know, with jumping and eventing, obviously more men are winning medals. My husband said, well, this isn't a fair statistic because more women are competing in dressage than men. So there's some truth to that. But one thing, oh yeah, Edie, you're right on base with my husband. So there could be more female riders, but still, I think it's really cool that women and men compete head to head in equestrian events. It's one of the only events that women and men are competing head to head. So that's super cool. All right, which combination holds the world record for the highest freestyle score? Isabel Worth, Edward Gall, Catherine Dufour, Charlotte Dujardin. There we go. Okay, D, Charlotte Dujardin. So Charlotte Dujardin got a 94.3%, which is just amazing at the London World Cup at Olympia. So that horse was so amazing. I can't even imagine. Can you guys imagine getting a 94%? That would just be, that's like you're getting most all 9s and 10s, which is just so crazy. Okay, whose riding do you most admire? A, Charlotte, B, Carl, C, Catherine, or D, Stefan? Let's see, who's most popular tonight? We have a lot of A's, B, A, and D. Oh, Ingrid Klemke, yes, I like her. A and B. Okay, you guys are all right. You can give yourself a point. I think that all of these riders have something a little different that is really inspirational, really great to watch. And it's always so educational to watch the top riders and learn from them. Okay, can you guess whose nose this is? I'll give you a hint. It's one of my horses. Let's see, A, B, or C. Okay, we have some B's, we have some A's. Okay. All right, there you go. That's Harvey's nose there. So if you put A, you are correct. That was Harvey. And Kensington. So Harvey has like a bigger thing and Kensington has a little diamond on his nose. So those are my two horses. It's kind of horses, but you know, they say that a good horse is never a bad color. So hence why I've ended up with two horses and they look very similar. It was so funny in Europe. I was in Europe trying horses and I posted some photos and I posted a photo of Kensington and someone wrote on Facebook like, oh, it's a mini Harvey. And I didn't even I liked Kensington, but he was my third choice. So then when the other two horses that I liked more didn't pass the vet check, I ended up with Kensington. And now I have two horses that are like identical twins. So there you go. All right, number 18. Which horse is Charlotte Dujardin taking to the Olympics? A is Freestyle or B is Geo? Pumpkin, yes, Pumpkin. Okay, there we go. So Charlotte, this is like a big surprise. This was like kind of a big upset because everyone thought she was going to take Freestyle. because freestyle is way more experienced. So Gio is only 10 years old. And fun fact, he actually came from California. Like I knew the girl that had him, and Charlotte Dujardin came and did a clinic, and she was like, I love this horse. I have to buy him. So she bought Gio from right here in California. And Charlotte has only done one freestyle and one special in his life. So that's just crazy that she's taking him to the Olympics with like zero experience. It's just a testament to her confidence and her experience level for sure. All right. What is a shackle? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Shekel, I think that's how you say it. A movement in dressage where you leg yield in 4 steps and back out 4 steps. A term that describes a horse that is lacking in throughness. A movement in dressage where you go back 4 steps, forward 4 steps, and back 4 steps. Or a type of warm blood popular in Italy. Let's see, B, C, A. Okay, you guys. New fun fact for some of you. So the answer is C. This is a movement that used to be in the Grand Prix. So back in ancient times in the Grand Prix, you used to have to go from collected trot, halt, then back 4 steps, walk forward 4 steps, go back 6 steps without a halt, and then go right into the trot or the canter. So that's really a test of throughness, engagement, suppleness. You should try it. It used to be in 4th level test 3 also. So it's a great movement if you have trouble with the rein back to go back, forward, and then out again. You learn something new every day. All right. How did Stefan Peters' Olympic dressage horse Suppenkasper get his nickname Mopsy? So A, he grows a lot of hair on his fetlocks, which looks like a mop. B, it's a cute name to undermine his huge 18+ hand stature. C, he's heavy set and voluptuous. Or D, he used to drag his feet along the ground like he was mopping the floor. Okay, you guys. There we go. So the answer is C. So Stefan actually got Mopsies from Helen Langenhagenberg. She's a German trainer and a very good rider. And so Mops, I guess it actually in Germany, Mops is an expression for a heavy set creature. So Mopsies is huge, and he is like really big barreled. Like you can see in the photo there how Stefan's legs like barely go to the bottom of his belly. And Stefan's tall. I mean, he's not huge, but Stefan's like my height, like 5'10", I would say. So Mopsies is over 18 hands. And I just think that's a super cute nickname for him. So there you go. Okay, trivia. This is the last trivia question. What is his name? There you guys go. That's Levi. Levi is the best barn dog ever. He's like so good because he never chases the horses and he's so loyal. He just follows me like from the tack room to the arena, back to the tack room, and he lays there. He's probably like the best dressage trainer ever, but I'm not really sure what he thinks of me riding circles over and over again. Levi's the best barn dog ever. Okay, how did you guys score on those trivia questions? 0 to 21. You can let me know in the chat if you want, but it was basically just for fun. Oh no, Beth says not terribly well. 18, good, Paula. Wow, you guys did good. 18, I think 18 is like an A. So a lot of those questions, like the more educational ones, is stuff that we covered in Amelia's Dressage Academy in the lectures So yeah, that's one thing that we're celebrating tonight is 10 months of Amelia's Dressage Academy. So I started these monthly workshops 10 months ago. That was like in September of last year. And we have done a ton of workshops. Like every month we focus on a different topic. So we've done things like straightness of horse and rider, transitions, competition and test riding, the aids. We did one of balance in the dressage horse and rider. We did one on evasions. We did a ton of them. So right now I'm offering a 2-day free trial for any of you guys that aren't in the academy that want to try it out. If you go, it's hopefully Joellen will put it in the chat there for you. So ameliasdressageacademy.com/monthly workshops. You can sign up, get a free 2-day trial and kind of see what it's all about, because it's a really super fun thing. And you know, knowing the theory of dressage, knowing the answers to those trivia questions will help you with your riding. Like you should know about suppleness and throughness and connection and contact. Like all of those terms need to be very familiar to you. So I wanted to celebrate some of our founding members of Amelia's Dressage Academy. So over there on the left, let's see, Linda, Teresa, Susan, Tiffany. Those are just some of the members that have been in the academy from the very beginning. So that's like 10 months, which is incredible. One thing that was crazy is when I went, so for those of you guys that are in my courses, when I go on there, I can see when the last time you logged in and looked at the courses was. So I can stalk you guys through Teachable. And when I went on there, all of you guys on this list had logged into the academy within 10 days. So that's how relevant these videos that I release and these topics are, is that you guys are just amazing how much you study this and how much you're going on and referencing these materials and these exercises and these lectures, because it's huge and it does help you with your riding. Let's see, Diane, you've been with me since the beginning. Yes, a lot of you guys have. So if you guys aren't in the academy and you want to give it a try, you have a free 2-day trial. So for the 9th person, we're doing number 9 again. The 9th person that signs up for the free 2-day trial, you'll get 3 months free in the academy. Basically, the academy, it's like $49 a month. So that's like $1.50 a day, which is probably less than you spend on your horse's supplements. And it's really just a super fun program. So bye, Catherine. Oh, Kristen won the visualized jacket. Yay, Kristen. That's awesome. Those jackets are wonderful and they're not cheap, but they're super, super helpful. So yay, Kristen. Okay. And so again, going back to the 3 pillars of success, what I'm trying to provide to you guys is theory, education, community, and support. If I can give that to you guys, then it will help you with your grit and determination. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have that grit and determination, and you have to have the desire from within you. But when you have the education and when you have the community and the support, it goes a long way to helping you stay determined, because dressage is so hard. And it's even harder when you are trying to do it alone. Okay, so this is a little glimpse into the academy, but basically the academy is a private community of riders just like you guys. We're all struggling to learn dressage. Dressage is so hard, and we do Zoom calls and theory lectures every single month. So a lot of the questions that we went through in the trivia were recaps of stuff that we've covered in the academy, like those questions about transitions, the questions about impulsion and submission. All of that is stuff that we talk about in the academy. So I used to think that riding was all just about spending time in the saddle. And it's a huge part of it. Like, you have to get your butt in the saddle. You have to ride your horse. but it's really important that you are also studying. You need to be watching videos of yourself ride. You need to be watching videos of other top riders. You need to be learning the theory of dressage. All of this stuff is really important. And especially as I have horses that are more advanced, like Harvey, for example, I spend more time watching videos and studying him and picking it apart and watching other riders do Grand Prix, because I can only ride my horse. You can only ride your horse for like at most an hour a day. So if you really want to improve and get better at riding, then you need to spend time doing these other things, even stuff like this that's fun and educational. So I also wanted to announce some of the upcoming events that we have coming up in the Academy. And I've decided, so you basically until Friday, I'm going to let new people into the Academy, and then I'm going to close the doors, because I really want to have a solid group of students that for the next quarter, we're really focused and learning these topics together. So for July, that's this month, we're focusing on rhythm, tempo, and stride length. So the live Zoom lecture is going to be on Sunday, July 18th and Wednesday, July 21st. We're going to go into the theory of rhythm, tempo, and stride length, because that's really what dressage is all about. When you can control your horse's tempo and the length of the strides, then you're halfway there. Like if you think about piaffe to extended trot, pirouette to extended canter, that's so much of what dressage is. And it starts at a very basic level. So like, can you make the walk smaller? Can you make the walk bigger? This is all stuff that we're talking about in the Academy this month. In August, we're focusing on rider mindset, and we're going to be working with a sports psychologist. A lot of riders deal with fear issues. I have dealt with fear issues. I still do. So really focusing on some strategies and some specific tools that will help you guys deal with your fear issues. And then I'll give you some mounted exercises. So some stuff like, here's what I do with a horse that I'm afraid of, some groundwork exercises, the one rein stop. And then also just in general rider mindset, like dealing with show nerves, dealing with confidence. And so much of riding is like the mindset that you bring to your ride. It really, like, I don't know if you have ever noticed, but when you're having a bad day and when you're grumpy and when you get on your horse with that mindset, it totally changes your whole ride. So getting control of your brain is a huge part of riding. So that's going to be August. September, we're going to focus on throughness and top line development. And then October, we're going to focus on impulsion. So I'm really looking forward to these upcoming events. And in the Academy, it's all about the basics, but dressage is all about the basics. So the topics are things that apply to riders of all levels, whether you're just starting out in dressage or whether you're doing the Grand Prix. So I wanted to feature some of our awesome members. Here's Debbie. Hi, Debbie. I know she's on the call. So she says that her favorite part of the Academy is the whole Academy. The information you have shared has allowed me to understand theory, identify evasions, improve my rider position, allowed me to comprehend what my goals need to be, encouraged me when I'm feeling frustrated, and given me exercises to improve the things that were frustrating my horse and I. These are only a few of the things I have learned. In the past, I've tried to read some very dry books. I think we all have. The Academy is like reading one of those hard to read books with everything fully explained and topped off with brief, to the point, concise videos to file away in my memory to give me a goal to strive for. Yeah, so in this technology era, we're able to do videos and all kinds of cool things. Okay, so here's a photo from one of the Zoom calls that we did. It's nice with the Academy because we can be a little more intimate. So it's more like one-on-one conversation. hearing from you guys, which is always super fun. And Andrew said, committing to taking the lectures, watching the videos, and practicing the exercises have helped me to take more responsibility for my riding. Listening to other participants tell their stories has helped me overcome the frustration and despair many riders feel by showing me that I am not alone. My obstacles are not unique, and that if others can persevere in this journey to become a better dressage rider, so can I. So I love that. And that is like, I just can't say that's so true, because we all struggle and none of you guys are alone in your struggle. And sometimes it is just knowing that other people are out there struggling and trying to learn, that just keeps you motivated and keeps you from just quitting. Here's another one from Leslie. My participation in the monthly workshops has developed my awareness of how the way I ride affects the way my horse goes to a much greater degree. There is so much that an instructor cannot teach you. A large part of riding well is learning to feel how the horse is going. I have a great instructor, but there were some things going on that she could not really see. By watching the videos and seeing the demonstrations of how the horse reacts to the correct and the incorrect way, I was able to self-assess and make some changes to the way I rode. Some very subtle changes can make a dramatic improvement. So that's so important, you guys. You know, you have to take responsibility for your riding, for the way your horse feels, and for your education. There's only so much that I like when I'm teaching a student, there's only so much that I can do to help them. So you have to take that responsibility upon yourself. Okay, I think that's all the slides that we have. So we have some more giveaways though. Hello, everyone. How are you guys all doing? Yay, celebrating everyone. Okay, I have some prizes. This is my package. Okay, so I have custom saddlery. I love their saddles. So I have a boot bag, a helmet bag, an Amelia Newcomb dressage hat. These are in high demand and you can't get them on the store, and a water bottle. So email Joellen and we'll give this to, let's do the 18th person to email my mom, Joellen. She's amazing. You're going to get all of these goodies. So I hope you enjoy that. I don't know what else we have to give away. Oh, also, I hope some of you guys have signed up for the free trial of the Academy. That's another fun party favor for all of you. And yeah, email Joellen. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you all for being here tonight. So cheers. Cheers to everyone. Look, I have horse confetti. Horse confetti. Oh my God, horse confetti. So my final toast is to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your commitment to your education and to learning and to your riding. It like gives me chills to hear your stories, to know that I'm helping you, to know that I'm encouraging you. And like, I want like you to know, like, I see you. I know that you're trying hard. I know that dressage is hard. I'm here to help you. I know that you guys are behind me 100%, always encouraging me. And that's like so special. So thank you all for being here tonight. I believe in you. I know that you can make progress with your horse. Dressage is supposed to be fun. So we're going to have fun. We're going to work hard, because if you didn't know, this is a fun fact. So Amelia means work. My groom told me this. He said, did you know that your name means to work? And basically, yes, I am a workaholic, but I love my horses and I love to ride and I love to help you guys. So cheers. Cheers to everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. And let's see, let's ask Joellen. Joellen, do you have a winner for us for the bridle bag? Jim, yes, my mom says that she didn't know that my name meant work when she named me Amelia, but apparently I lived up to my name. So we'll post a a thing with all of the winners, with everyone who won the prizes from tonight. So that's it. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.